For over a decade now, there has been a huge debate of whether or not rap lyrics should be used in court or not. Many rap songs have been used in court as an attempt to convict rappers of crimes. Recently, this has been more of a hot topic with artists like TK, 6ix9ine, YNW Melly, Young Thug, Gunna, and more having their lyrics used against them in court. So today we're going to be taking a look at some of these cases and seeing just how these rappers' lyrics were used against them in court. I'm not going to be talking a lot about whether or not I think they should be used in court. I'll just be stating what happened, but I'm sure you guys are eager to hear my opinion, so I think in general they shouldn't be, since obviously oftentimes the lyrics aren't meant to be taken literally, or a lot of rappers would be in jail right now. Like Bruce Rivers says, unless you're describing a specific situation that links you to a crime, they really shouldn't be used in court. Now let's get into it. Young Thug, multiple songs. I figured I'd cover this one first since it's the most relevant and I didn't know too much about it going into this video, so I wanted to do some research to become more aware. If you're unaware, Young Thug and Gunna have been indicted, which is the fancy word for accused or charged, for being involved in organized crime. They're trying to pin Young Thug as the leader of YSL, which is allegedly an organized crime organization. Right now, Thug has multiple songs being used against him, such as You, Slime Shit, Bad Boy, Just How It Is, Slatty, and ironically, Take It to Trial. I read through most of the mentions of Young Thug in the 88-page YSL indictment, and every time they mentioned his lyrics, they stated it was an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. So essentially, they're using the lyrics to try to link him to YSL and his involvement in the organized crime. On songs like Bad Boy, he didn't really say anything too incriminating, but on other songs, he did. On the song You, he associates himself a lot with YSL. On Slatty, he talks about murder and also associates himself with YSL. And on Slime Shit, he says, the judge, YSL, this, that, mob life. On Just How It Is, he says, ask the cops, ask the detectives, they know all the business, ask the cops, ask the detectives, all the jurisdictions, gave the lawyer close to 2 mil, he handles all the killings. We don't speak about shit on wax, it's all mob business. Lyrics like these are pretty rough, especially if they can link these to actual instances of things happening. Like if they can find out that Young Thug actually paid off a lawyer to hide a killing, that's pretty bad. Finally, on Take It to Trial, he says, take this shit to motherfucking trial. For slimes you know I kill, trial I done beat it twice. Take it to trial, get an appeal, take it to trial, yeah you gon' whack 'em. A lot of these lyrics could seemingly link him to gang violence, especially the lyrics where he's talking about court and paying off lawyers. Again, none of these lyrics are inherently incriminating and it could just be another rap song, but some of what he's saying does sound a little too specific. This is the only instance in the video where the case is still going on, but from what I can tell, it seems like a lot of these songs could be used in the prosecutor's favor, at least if they can link them to actual things he was involved in. Not to mention they've been building this case on him for years and have an 88-page indictment. I just wanted to cover this because it's more relevant and I was curious, but now let's move on to some cases that have more closure. Tiny Do, No Safety. I originally picked this one because I think Tiny Do has a really funny stage name, but as I read into the case, it's actually super interesting. Tiny Do is a smaller rapper from San Diego who is charged with attempted murder charges in a gang conspiracy. In 2014, the prosecutors tried to link Tiny Do to 9 local shootings despite him not having any criminal record, nor was he tied to any of the murders that were being prosecuted. He was fighting 64 years to life with no evidence other than his music. There was no reason for him to be charged despite a small California law that allows for the prosecution of gang members if they are found to profit from the crimes of their fellow gang members. Their reasoning for linking Tiny Do to this gang violence was because of his album No Safety. I guess I kind of broke the rules of the title of the video, but it's a whole album, not just a song. The deputy DA told the news, we're not just talking about a CD of anything, of love songs. We're talking about a CD cover. There's a revolver with bullets. No. Seriously though, it's like he's never seen like a movie. They have revolvers and bullets in movies. Doesn't make any sense. So because of the imagery and the lyrics from his album, he was automatically associated with gang violence despite them having any other evidence. Tiny Do has since claimed that this only happened because someone was apparently running for office and wanted to seem like they were cracking down on gang violence. The charges were later dropped for lack of evidence. Around this time, multiple men were accused of associating with gangs in San Diego and were incarcerated because of this law. One man named Aaron Harvey was also charged for the same gang association, and they claimed his benefit was stature. Aaron Harvey said in an interview that the prosecutors claimed that he was boosting his street stature by committing these crimes, but again, like Tiny Do, there was no evidence for this. I know I said I wasn't going to give my opinion much, and I really don't on any of the other cases, but I think this one is actually pretty ridiculous since they had no evidence other than the songs, and I'm glad that Tiny Do is free. 6ix9ine, Gummo, Kooda, and Billy. This is another more recent, high-profile incident, but I figured I would cover it to refresh our memories, especially since it's pretty unique compared to most other cases. 6ix9ine was on trial for his relationship and involvement with the 9 Trey gang. Rather than plead innocent and fight the case, as many of us know, 6ix9ine folded pretty quickly and decided to cooperate with the prosecutors. So, unlike all of the other cases in this video, 6ix9ine helped explain his lyrics and in what way they related to his crimes, rather than the prosecutors trying to use these lyrics to help them build a case. They played 3 songs, which were Gummo, Kooda, and Billy. Gummo was used to link 6ix9ine and 9 Trey to their dispute with Trippie Redd's camp and friend KB. The song Kooda was aimed at another New York rapper named Casanova, who 6ix9ine had beef with, which eventually led to a shooting incident. The intro to the song Billy was apparently aimed at rivals who said 6ix9ine wasn't a real gang member. It was spoken by his manager Shotty, who was later sentenced to 15 years in prison thanks to 6ix9ine's testimony. They also referenced his music videos a few times, asking about gang members in the videos and whether or not the guns were real. 6ix9ine and the prosecutors successfully used the songs and videos to testify against his fellow gang members, and because of his cooperation, he was only sentenced to 2 years. Even the judge said he appreciated how courageous 6ix9ine was, especially because he is, as the judge says, unusually recognizable. This is definitely a very unique situation among rap songs in court cases. Boosie, 187, and Body Bag. In 2012, Boosie, also known as Boosie Badass or Lil Boosie, was accused of hiring a man who went by the name of Marlo Mike to kill a man named Terry Boyd in 2009. His 2 songs, 187 and Body Bag, were used to try to link him to the crime. In his song 187, which is apparently the police code for homicide, he said a variety of violent things. However, the one that stands out most is when he says, "Yo Marlo, he got a Monte Carlo, that cray, I want that dead today, here go the K." The other lyrics throughout the song are pretty vague, but this one is extremely specific and it really did not sound good. I'm not gonna lie, if I was in the jury and I heard this song played in court, I would have assumed that he was guilty, especially since prosecutors said that the song was recorded 2 hours before the murder was committed. Apparently, shortly after the murder was committed, he wrote lines for another song called Body Bag where he says, "Curtain call, put that brains on the wall." Somehow the prosecutors were able to find out exactly when these songs were made, which made it seem like some pretty damning evidence. However, the defense stated that these lyrics were recorded way before the songs were made and that they were just resampled. The defense also said that Marlo Mike was accused of killing 5 other people, including one of Boosie's friends by the name of Proof, so maybe it's possible that Boosie was rapping about how he wanted Marlo dead and they just misinterpreted the lyrics. Regardless, Boosie was later found innocent because they could not get any evidence that would link him to hiring Marlo to commit the murder. YNW Melly, Murder on My Mind. When I first heard that YNW Melly was arrested for the murder of his 2 friends who were 2 members of the YNW crew, I automatically assumed he was guilty because of his song Murder on My Mind. However, I didn't know that this song was released a year before the murder that Melly was accused of. But what I didn't know is that Murder on My Mind was actually used in court against Melly before this murder trial. In 2017, when Melly was caught violating his probation, the state attorney apparently encouraged that he be reincarcerated after reading the lyrics to the 2nd verse of Murder on My Mind. The 2nd verse, of course, is the one where he talks about how he killed his friend. You know, the whole "I cocked my pistol back and shot him twice" verse. Although that suggestion from the state attorney wasn't accepted, people fear that in his current case, his lyrics are going to be used against him again. I read through a bunch of the arrest documents, and as far as I'm aware, these lyrics have actually not been used against Melly in his current case. And Bruce Rivers himself said it's not too likely that they will be, so I'm just going to go ahead and trust him on this one. With what little information I had about Melly's case, I assumed that these lyrics were definitely going to be used in this trial, but ironically enough, they were actually used in a separate case, a non-homicide case, rather than this one. However, it does seem like they do have a lot of dirt on Melly as his case is still ongoing. One piece of evidence I heard they had was an Instagram post where he captions it, "I did that right after the murder." They also seem to have lots more DNA evidence, so it doesn't look too good for Melly, but on the bright side, the death penalty has been dropped from the case. So the song Murder on My Mind has been used in a previous case and could possibly be used in the ongoing case, although it's not likely. These are all the songs I have for this video. I know there's plenty more and I might end up making a part 2, but I figured these ones were pretty interesting, so I wanted to cover them. I know I said I wasn't going to give my opinion, but it can be kind of BS the way that some of these lyrics are used, especially in instances like Tiny Do's, so I think courts should use a little bit more common sense when they're dealing with lyrics, and the purpose of this video wasn't to like glorify all this or anything. It was just to kind of bring light to some of these court cases because I really didn't know a lot about any of them, since the extent of my information on these court cases is just article headlines. Let me know in the comments if you guys want a part 2 and maybe what cases you'd want to see in the part 2. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Other than that, this has been Matty Balls, and I'll see you guys next time.